Hello, my name is Jude Tomasello. I am Defense Health Agency's Program Manager for Medical Simulation and Training. What I'm going to provide to you today is a short overview of our operations, who we are, what we do, and a little bit about some of our flagship programs. Sorry. Our mission is very short and straightforward, and that's on purpose. We save lives and improve healthcare through simulation. Our vision, if you look at our vision, we like to keep provider of choice in there. And what that does is keep our entire operation razor sharp, committed to doing all those things we need to do to provide for a ready medical force, and all those things in the area of modeling and simulation for the Defense Health Agency and all of its stakeholders. So in 2013, the Assistant Secretary of Defense for Health Affairs created this office to do those things you see there and under the bullets. And if you look, they each begin with an action verb. And those are what program managers in the Department of Defense do. And whether it's for a Joint Strike Fighter or combat boots or medical simulation, this is what program managers do. They transition science and technology. They should support the requirements across the services, respond to the combatant commands requirements. Those are the users, the guys, boots on the ground, we call them. We standardize those training solutions, and then you can't ever forget about sustainment. We centralize the sustainment of medical training solutions. And again, we do that across the entire life cycle of a program, whether it's a product or a service. We support the entire life cycle. So our priorities in the office of obviously effectively and efficiently support our stakeholders. So those are the military treatment facilities, those are hospitals, and the combatant commands. Those are guys, users, right? And we support their medical simulation and training requirements, and we do that using the established acquisition governance that all of DoD uses. And once those programs are out there, they're fielded, we sustain them with contracts as well. Our next goal is to support DHA goals for acquisition, governance, process, and workforce. And I put that in there because DHA, being a relatively young agency, is still maturing in how they do acquisition, as compared to, say, one of the service, the Army or Navy, that have done this for a very long time. So we support those goals as well. And then obviously in any operation, your goal is to take care of the workforce as a priority. And we do that as well. So this slide I call the balance. In medical simulation, what are you primarily simulating? Well, it's the human body and all of its functions. And it's not as though it's a tank or a rifle where you've got some inanimate object that you're simulating. Even with software and controls, you've got the human body. So it's a very difficult and costly balance to try and achieve that maximum fidelity, durability, and performance. And often what we see is you can get a lot of one of those three, but you sacrifice either both or one of the others there. And so when you look at fidelity, very high fidelity, closely mimicking the human performance, but that's normally in a very sterile and clean hospital setting, not able to be dragged through the mud or loaded on and off a helicopter to do medevac training, because it's too sensitive for that, and it won't last. So that's where you get at durability. And these are things that you could take out in the field. You could beat them up, you can drag them, you could take them in and out of helicopters or other medevac vehicles. But these are basically glorified department store mannequins. They're a large chunk of plastic with very, very little in the area of fidelity and performance. And then you get to performance. And these are built, our medical simulation training centers in the US use these, and they're meant to do tasks over and over repeatedly. And there's consistency of function, and there's reliability that they're going to train that task the same way each time. So if you want something, again, that's got all three, you're going to likely spend a lot of money and you're not going to get 100% of all three. And believe me, we've looked. So what we end up doing in order to mitigate this is we'll go to the user and ask them, okay, what tasks are you training? What is your objective and what are your training tasks? And when we do that, it's often, well, you need more fidelity than you need durability, or you need more performance than you need fidelity. And we do have those trade-offs with the user, and it gets them what I would call the best value. They're not spending more than they should for a capability that they don't need. So one of our flagship programs is for the U.S. Special Operations Command. It's a program called Spear Points, very long acronym. SOCOM Purposed Emergency Access Response Point of Injury and Trauma Simulation System. This is a system that we fielded to Fort Campbell. It's meant to collectively train the soft medics on prolonged casualty care, formerly called prolonged field care. And we've got scenarios that they can run up to 72 hours, and this in a simulation environment using technology is before unheard of. We also use this, it's used not only to train, but we also use this device to assess the viability of using commercial off-the-shelf equipment for the soft medical skills training, which can be transferred to other medical skills training as well. Again, it's at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Our plans for upgrades include en-route care capabilities, and there's a list of about 15 or 16 additional soft medic sites that we would like to field to as well, subject to funding and priorities as well. Some of the other programs we're working, a program called Special Operations Combat Medic. This is not actually a training device per se, but it's a job analysis and a competency analysis, looking at all those tasks that the different services soft medics perform. They're basically rewriting many of those tasks, and we're helping that. And the idea is coming from that likely will be a need for some more high fidelity, highly complex training devices, and we'll be there to support them for that. The Virtual Education Center, this is modeled after our Veterans Affairs Virtual Medical Center. It's a patient interface. It allows them access to their doctors, to their nurses. It allows them access to medical libraries, appointments, prescriptions, and all the things that you need as a patient at your fingertips, available for all the patients and all the people we support, as well as the clinicians can go in and institute communication with their patients as well. So that's what VEC is. That's a prototype. We're actually testing it this week to be delivered at a limited number of military treatment facilities for evaluation. We also have a program called Joint Trauma and Education Training Delivery Platform. You may know this better as Deployed Medicine, which is an app you can download on any phone. And that's part of the problem. It was an app that was out there. Our joint trauma system here in the United States was providing content to it. So we're taking that back in. We're giving it access controls. We're giving it all the cyber protections that it needs to be a real Department of Defense piece of software. And we're working on that as we speak. The next one is the MHS Medical Library. Currently, it's literally almost every individual hospital has a small local contract to do their medical library. Some of them are brick and mortar. Some of them are internet based. We're taking these and looking across the entire enterprise and building a contract that meets the needs across the enterprise. And really, there's going to be a lot of efficiency and consolidation in doing that as well, and a lot of updating of what these libraries do. And finally, standardized patients. Standardized patients are something we use here, and they are basically partially actors and partially clinicians. And they'll come in and be physically examined by a doctor. Maybe it's an intern undergoing training, and then that intern will be evaluated and scored by that patient. And these are very, very specialized skills. And this is another one that there are a lot of small disparate contracts out there that do this. We're looking at building a contract across the enterprise of the military health system to support and provide standardized patients. So those are just some of the things that we're up to. This is basically bringing my briefing to a close. I hope I informed you. And again, we are here providing simulations so that the U.S. Military health system can stay ready and resilient. And again, thank you for your attention. Apologize, I'm having to record this briefing. We had technical issues, probably more on my side than on the other side, but you've got a recording now. Here's points of contact. You've got my email, and please feel free to contact me at any time. Thank you very much.